Hi girls, this week in geography we are going to be looking at the weather, and we know in Ireland the weather is very important to us. We love talking about the weather. The weather is very important to our daily lives as it helps us to decide what clothes to wear, what activities we can or can't do, and we know that sometimes our weather can change from day to day. So as we go through the next few slides, we will be exploring the weather in greater detail. Our learning objectives for this lesson is, first of all, to identify different types of weather associated with the different seasons. Then we are going to explore the effects of the weather on our daily lives, and finally to understand the role of Met Éireann in Ireland. As I said a few moments ago, we love to talk about the weather all the time, and there are many phrases that you may hear people at home or people on the street or even in school saying about the weather. So we're going to do a little bit of partner talk, and if we were in the classroom we would work with our partner beside us, but maybe there's someone at home you could have a little chat with, or if not, you can jot a few ideas down on the page. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to talk about things you have heard people saying about the weather. So if you'd like to pause this slide and have a little chat, and if not, just jot down a few phrases that you associate with the weather. Enjoy! Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your chat with someone at home about the weather. I know I always talk about the weather. First thing this morning, I looked out the window and I told everyone at home what the day was like. So for example, this morning I said, it's such a lovely day out, the sun is shining. And then just a few moments ago, unknowns to myself, I looked out the window as the sun was setting and I said, red sky at night, shepherd's delight. And that's an example of weather lore, and we will be looking a little bit more in detail at weather lore in the next few lessons. So some phrases that you might have mentioned or that you might be familiar with are, that's a lovely day. Did you ever see rain like that? The roads are very icy. Hasn't it got cold? That's a strong wind. So as you can see, we love to have a conversation about the weather, and sometimes it can be a great conversation opener. So over the next few days, listen out for conversations about the weather. Maybe at home or if you're out walking or exercising. Maybe you might even hear a few of your phrases. Now we're going to go back to our very first objective for this lesson, which was to identify the different types of weather associated with the different seasons. So in most parts of the world, the year is divided into 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn and winter. And we know that each season brings a change in the weather and in the number of hours of daylight and darkness. And we know we are in spring now and the days are getting longer and it's getting that little bit warmer. And we often associate the different seasons with many different things. So for example, we associate Christmas with winter, Easter with spring, Halloween with autumn, and our summer holidays, of course, from school, with summer. Often with clothes, you might associate your hat, your scarf, your gloves with winter time, or your shorts and your t-shirt with the summer. And we were looking at the trees a lot in school this year for the different seasons. And in autumn, we drew a lovely tree with the gorgeous autumn colours of red, brown, green, yellow. And then for the winter, we had our bare branches. And in spring we know that the buds are starting to appear on the trees, and then in summer it's full bloom. So to recap on that slide, we have 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn and winter. And with these 4 seasons we have different types of weather associated with each one. So let's go on and explore the very first season. The first season we are looking at is the season we are in currently, which is that of spring. And in spring, the months are February, March and April. The next season then that we will be looking at is the summer, May, June and July. The third season then that we're going to look at is autumn, with the months August, September and October, and finally the season of winter, November, December and January. Spring we know begins on the 1st of February, which is also St. Bridget's Day. And here in Ireland we say that St. Bridget's Day marks the beginning of spring. We know that spring is a time of growth and new life, and as we look around us at the minute we can see the beauty of spring as the buds have started to appear on the trees and the cherry blossoms are in full beauty. We saw the tulips and the daffodils blooming, the lambs have been born. It is a time of real beauty and full of growth and new life. And some plants and animals also wake up from their winter hibernation. So for example in Ireland, the hedgehog and maybe the bat might be waking up from their winter hibernation too. The weather we know is getting slightly warmer and people say the days are getting longer, which means that the hours of daylight are increasing. So you will have noticed the weather over the past few weeks has been getting warmer and more pleasant. You might have also noticed that you no longer need your winter coat anymore. Summer is the season we get our summer holidays. The weather can be warm and sunny, and this season is said to be Ireland's driest season. But you may need to bring a raincoat with you, as there often can be those short, refreshing showers also. The hours of daylight continue to increase, so we enjoy the long evenings of daylight. And many countries have different definitions of seasons, and we often associate August with summer, as the temperature remains high and the long hours of daylight. June, July and August are the 3 warmest months in Ireland. And July and August get about 18 hours of daylight a day. We often associate autumn with going back to school and Halloween. And during autumn, deciduous trees such as the oak, the maple and the beech trees start to lose their leaves during autumn. The word deciduous means to fall off. You will notice the leaves turning beautiful shades of red, gold and orange as they start to fall. You may also see nuts and seeds on the ground, such as acorns, that have fallen from the trees. Animals spend their time gathering the food for the winter. As the weather becomes much cooler, there are fewer hours of daylight, so it is darker outside for longer. During this time, you may be putting away your summer clothes and taking out your winter clothes, your jumpers, your jackets, and maybe even your scarves, as the weather is becoming much cooler. In Ireland, in winter, many trees and plants are bare at this time, so the leaves that would have fallen off during autumn have left the plants and trees nice and bare. Some animals have fallen asleep as they hibernate during the winter months. For example, the hedgehog. The weather becomes much colder too, and we have to start wearing our warmer clothes. On occasions, the temperature may drop below freezing. Roads are often covered in frost and ice, and snow sometimes does fall. However, winter is generally fairly mild compared to other European countries. In Ireland, we also sometimes witness some storms. This year, we saw storm after storm, such as Storm Ciara, which brought exceptionally wet and windy weather. It affected Ireland through many windy days and wintry showers, which saw snow lying in places after the storm. During winter, there are fewer hours of daylight, so the days are much shorter. It is darker much earlier in the evenings. The shortest day of the year is December 21st, and this is known as the winter solstice. What this means is that on the 21st of December, this day has the fewest hours of daylight. And in Newgrange in County Meath, the winter solstice is celebrated each year. This is where sunlight shines through the roof box over the entrance, travels along the 19-metre passage and lights up the chamber. If you look at the picture on the bottom right hand corner, this is a picture of the sunlight as it beams through the 19-metre passageway. Let's do a quick recap on our seasons. In Ireland, the year is divided into 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn and winter. Each season brings a change in the weather and in the number of hours of daylight and darkness. Why don't you try these 3 questions in your copy? So remember, the seasons do not get capital letters, so spring and autumn do not get capital letters, but months do get capital letters. So April, May, September, October all get capital letters. Okay? Remember, write your question in red and then your answer in either your pencil or your blue pen.